Welcome, everyone. This is Polly Needles, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and hear LOTRO players. And this week we have with us Terry Edwin,
Hi.
Senswinda,
Hello.
Guerendis,
Hello, everybody.
and Calabathian.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. And this week, we don't have a review this week, so it's a shorter show than last week. And all that we really have is the beacon. The LOTRO beacon, number 100 and...
There was like a tiny patch.
Oh yes, there was a tiny patch. Thank you for the reminder. You're right, there was a little bitty patch.
Tiny patch.
Yes. Thank you for the reminder there. And we had a patch which was 26.0.2, where, for quest and adventure areas, there are now advanced layer deeds in the Wells of Langflood. Please note that while they do give rewards, they are not included in the meta deed requirements. And defeating hobgoblins now increments the troll and hobgoblin slayer deed. Remerhant fixed an issue that prevented players from skipping Brotha Tasach in Tier 5 via conquering the Remerhant progress. And Gorthadnur fixed the chests in this instance that were displaying incorrect names. For the UI, the description of instrument and housing decoration carryalls has been updated to clarify that items placed inside of them will lose their crafted inscriptions. So keep that in mind. And miscellaneous fixed an issue in the German and French language clients where Northern Goal marks were missing their translation. And the current VIP gift medium carry-all selection box will no longer inappropriately deliver on a monster play character if they are the first character logged into on the account. Note, this will not resolve any issues with accounts that have already received the carry-all selection package on a monster player character. Impacted players should contact customer service in-game. And Senswinda, did you ever get that resolved?
I did. What do we call them? The GM who messaged me was very helpful, and my Senswinda on Arkenstone is now the proud owner of a medium carry-all selection box, as it should be. So.
Right! Yay!
Yeah, it was awesome.
So you haven't selected the actual carry-all yet?
No. I keep thinking that I've decided, and then I keep thinking, oh, but she's my minstrel, she could use the instrument one instead, or, oh, but maybe I want this one. So I haven't actually decided yet, but it's on a character who can use it, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, if you're a minstrel, if you carry a large number... Yeah, actually, the question is, do you carry a large number of instruments that... And you don't want to be annoyed by going through an extra step in order to change which one you have equipped.
I mean, I could. At one point in time, I did have my inventory almost full of instruments, but now they're all in my shared storage. So, I'm not entirely positive.
Well, that depends whether or not you need that space in your shared storage bag.
True. Though I think they were all just basic instruments. And I haven't seen yet if this will carry, like, my... war instruments, because I could totally have like a different war instrument for different scenarios, and it would be kind of fun to go from bagpipes to a harp to drums or something, you know?
Well, I do know that it's a known issue that if you place an item with a crafted inscription into the carry-all, it loses that inscription.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
And they updated the things to tell you that. So, I mean, that makes sense. But...
Well, actually, the update they made is they updated the description to clarify that that is intended behavior.
Yes.
So Yeah, but
my
do you
minstrel
really
may or
need
may
those
not want
crafty descriptions?
I don't know. Maybe?
Probably depends on the character, on how important they are.
Right. Like, if I craft my own instrument, then I probably won't have an inscription at all, except that it'll say it was crafted by so-and-so, which is kind of irrelevant, because I'll know which alt crafted it.
Yeah.
But...
All right. So those are the small little changes that we had this week. Now, I should also note that there will be another update. They're currently planning that for Wednesday, May 13th. And as far as I know, that has two major things that are going to be included in there. One of them is whatever that big special surprise that they've been hinting at is supposed to be coming out on May 13th. And I don't know if anyone has any guesses as to what that might be yet. And the other thing is that they're planning on some hunter updates.
I totally forgot that there was supposed to be another surprise. I thought the surprise was already the carry-all thing that they announced.
But no, it sounds like there's another one. I'm excited about this, but I have no idea.
No idea what this...
I don't know. I think Sans and I are probably both more interested in the hunter updates.
Actually, I certainly wouldn't mind them myself.
Yeah, they look like they're going to be pretty good. It's going to cost more focus, so generating focus is going to become a priority, a bigger focus of mine, so to speak. But it sounds like they might be some good changes, so I'm looking forward to testing them.
I think I would see that affecting more the red or yellow lines than the blue line, because doesn't the blue line have the trading for focus on some of its...
Some of it, there's like a chance of focus, but they moved most of our focus generation skills like out of our line when they did the hunter overhaul. So I don't know if it's faster in red line now or blue line. Because the skills that kept my focus up in blue line got moved to red line. So I don't know. We'll see.
We'll find that out next week. So we'll see how happy Sanswinda is next week. Now we can head to the Beacon issue 159, where I will presume that is somewhere in the Floodfells. I haven't had a chance to question there yet.
It looks like it.
Yeah, it looks like something that could be the Floodfells. Let's begin with the community spotlight. Critter's Journey has updated its imbuement guide, so you could click to read that. And let me see. Oh, I probably should have skipped that one because I have that article for that one later. Okay. Yeah, we'll come back to that one. Bloodborne revisits the heart of Lothlorien in a new landscape video. Band signups continue for this year's Shire Fest. If you are in a band, don't miss out. You can click on the link to sign up. As for the Kinhall, the Blue Mountains Regiment is one of the oldest and largest kinships on Laurelin. The kinship has more than a decade of role-playing dwarffolk and has their own website, Discord, Twitter, and private Facebook group. And you can click there to check out the website. And I presume that they do allow stout access there or not?
I don't know.
I'm clicking the link to find out.
Yeah, I guess you could check on the link in order to find out whether that's a Longbeard only or if it's a general dwarven kinship. Meanwhile, let's then head into our weekly comment. Sure, firewood is great, but blank works even better.
Dragon.
I second this.
Yeah, that sounds like it'll work.
Apparently, if you're on the moors, wargs.
Oh.
Well, actually, with the way Sans Window likes burning spider webs, you would. Though I don't think you would ever use spider webs and works better in the same sentence.
No, not usually.
Not usually.
One of the answers in the forums is pine cones, and it made me remember that one of my lore masters is named Burn a Lot of Pine Cones.
I burn a lot of pine cones. Oh. Oh boy. I don't know. I sort of feel hot whenever I see a name like that. Then let's into our fan site news. Last week we reviewed Update 25. And on LOTRO Stream is your first stop to find LOTRO on Twitch. This week, Big Ed Mustafa has Adventures After Dark, Red Baron, Journeys on Evernight, and Uger goes on an epic adventure. Also on Twitch, Zagog runs in Mordor, keeps smealing quests in Gondor, and the Dwaro Scholar heads into the Floodfells. And over on YouTube, Bias60 plays MMO, gets on a champion journey, and the Hope and Disenchanted dance into May, and Uger goes through the book. And as for our screenshot of the week, Valkyrie enjoys questing and chasing the dawn in Middle-earth. In this week's screenshot, thanks for sending it in.
That's a champion, by the way, in case you didn't know.
That's a champion.
You want to know how I know that?
They just flunked their swords over their head.
That's devastating strike. That's a very specific animation that they were caught in the midst of.
Trust
Which
me, you
is
do not want to be on the opposite side of it.
All right. The name Valkyrie sounds very, very Nordic, but when you take the pose together with that, it almost looks like he's in Japanese armor, even though I don't think there are any intentional Japanese armors in LOTRO.
There is a samurai feel to it.
Yeah. And that is our beacon for this week. So let's head into our store sales. And Terry, what's on sale this week?
Well, I'm so glad you asked because I wasn't actually looking at it. We still have the anniversary stuff on sale through the 10th, so that's just through the weekend. So if you're listening to this after the show posts, then you're out of luck. But it's 25% off Boundburst Bounty, 50% off account-wide seeds, 75% off classes, races, and character slots. And again, that's through the 10th. And then the week's sales are housing stuff. 20% off select housing decorations, select housing sets, housing property writs, and select cloaks, which I don't know how cloaks fit into houses, but okay. Caveat to cloaks, always double check and make sure that it's not available some other way, like via the skirmish camp. And then the weekly coupon gets you a +5 hope boost times 5 with coupon code HOPEFUL now through May 14th. Unfortunately, that doesn't work on the group the way a token would. It's a solo only hope boost.
It could be useful for some solo skirmishes, or even some of those solo instances where you have to go and face these really big dread ones, like Fire and Ice, where you have that Nazgul with that really.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, if you're a solo player, then that's fine. But if you're somebody who typically groups up, it's going to be less useful.
Though if everybody in your group has it and you're a low level, that +5 boost might be better than any hope token you could get if you all have it. So,
yeah.
It could also be helpful if you got killed in the last battle and the group doesn't feel like bringing up another hope token, then you could pop one of those so you can get your hope up that way. so that the group doesn't, especially if you're the lowest level person, you keep on getting killed, so the group doesn't have to go through tokens like water.
That is true.
Right, because I think the advantage of this one is that because it's a store item, it doesn't
I don't
get
actually
reset.
think it. Yeah, I don't think it resets after you die either.
Yeah.
So there is also that boost.
Then let's head into the site news, where, as we hinted at earlier, we have Squirrel's Guide to Imbued Legendary Items, a guide for U26 for 2020, and talking about legendary weapons, how you get your legendary weapon, how you prepare it for imbuement, the best practices for imbuement, the power curves of legacies, upgrading your legacies, where you can get scrolls, 42 days in Minas Tirith.
Approximately.
Moats and ember options, efficient farming, and all that stuff that I have a habit of ignoring completely. But yes, everything you need to know about imbued LIs.
I'm going to have to put this on bookmark so that I can refer to it later, because I always have these questions. And now that I have a first age weapon, I'm going to need to imbue it, etc. So, yes, this is exactly what I'm looking for.
There are some discrepancies, like he in particular mentions swapping out your legacies after imbuement, which is okay if you have the legacy imbuement scrolls, but you shouldn't wait to do all of your legacies after imbuement if you because you can actually override the legacy before imbuing if you have it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if you have access to a group that can run the Throne of Dread Terror boss 1 at tier 2, you can have a steady stream of legacy imbued legacy replacement scrolls. But if you do not have access to such a group, then counting on imbued legacy replacement scrolls is probably not a good idea.
Well, and again, there's no reason for it if you've got the legacies, because in most cases you can go ahead and swap the legacy out without using the imbuement, the legacy replacement scroll.
Right, and you'll get some from questing if you do the epic quest. But those are good to hang on to, because when they do updates to your class, sometimes you find out that a legacy you had slotted no longer is relevant to the line that you're playing or what you want to do. And it's good to have those scrolls for those instances.
I have a feeling, though, that Squirrel may have a late 2020 guide if they actually do have a chance to do that LI revamp at the end of the year, but we'll find that out
We'll find that out by the end of the year.
By the end of the year, whether or not they're able to get that in, and whether that has people cheering or crying after they've implemented.
Or both, in some mixture.
Yeah, that actually could be the case, in that some characters may have things perfectly tuned in the current system, and that the whole new system breaks what they were doing. And there are others who find that the new system is much more convenient. Yeah, there inevitably is someone who's going to hate the new system no matter what it is.
There's always people who are going to hate whatever changes they make. Some of those people just hate it because it's a change.
Well, and even the people who have things perfectly tuned now, there might be some real benefits to the new system that they're going to be cheering over, even as they're like, wait, why did I just spend 42 days in Minas Tirith to have it change?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there are all sorts of fun little things going on in that.
Or maybe the change will still require 42 days in Minas Tirith, which might be what makes me go, no!
We'll have to find out. Now let's go in check. Does anyone have a new player question for this week? I'm going to take that as a no.
Cricket.
Yes.
I mean, we could ask the obvious one. What in the world is a legendary item, and why would you imbue it? But I think we've answered that more than once, so...
Yes.
And honestly, do we really want to talk allies again?
No. You get one at
Probably
level 50, and if you're not there yet, you don't need to worry about it.
And if you are there, you still don't need to worry about it, because imbuement you can't do till level 100.
Pretty much.
50, they give you this full tutorial along.
It's a terrible tutorial.
Well, yeah, true. It's not the best.
I mean, it really... You can go through... And I've done that LI tutorial on so many characters now. Like, even the Valor'd ones, I go back and do it, because I end up opening up Moria the traditional way, and you still have to do those quests.
Well, if you don't go back and open Moria the traditional way, you can't get into Moria, and you can't use the Fortune Relic Masters at Thorn's Hall or Rivendell. So you kind of have to do it to have full use of what you got anyway.
And it's just... It's I mean, it tells you, okay, this is a legacy, this is this, but it doesn't actually give you any information about why you're doing this. What's the benefit of this relic versus this relic, or this legacy versus that legacy?
Or why is this new thing that they call legendary worse than the critted thing that I was carrying around before that's really super awesome? I didn't want to trade my cool bow that I had just got for this LI that did less damage and looked stupid, and yeah. It took a lot of convincing. Well, at least the look stupid part
you could take care of these days by wearing cosmetic weapons.
I wore my cool bow as my cosmetic for a while. But, yeah. Well, and then I tried to keep my ally that I got because it was legendary, and that doesn't exactly work either. So, you know.
Yeah, there is that. And it doesn't help that, maybe I'll just use my own weapon for a while until I level up the legendary item. No, you've got to have it. The first legendary weapon.
Keep equipped.
Yeah, the first legendary item that you get has to be kept equipped, even though it doesn't apply to any other legendary items you get.
Technically, the second one does too.
Yeah, that is true. The second one has this. The first one of each type, I should say.
Yeah.
Now let's head into our week in LOTRO. And Terry Adwin, what were you up to?
I actually had a fairly busy week this week. Terry Adwin attempted, with mixed success, to keep peace among the dwarves. Which was a lot of fun, because I didn't have to go to the Bjorninghuis. Yay! For options. And actually, I was reminded while we were running around, up and down and all over the place in Skarhald, that I really love Skarhald. And for some reason, I had forgotten how much I love Skarhald while I was messing around in the Vales of Anduin and just generally being irritated by bears. We should have ended, instead of ending those trips in, like, the Bjorninghuis or whatever random town in the Vales of Anduin, we should have just gone back to Skarhald, and then I would have been less irritated for all of that.
Noted. I will keep that hunter port up.
Skarhald is, like, really, really super soothing for me. I don't know why. I love everything about Skarhald. I really do.
Except for all the Jelruka that are there?
At this point, compare Jelruka to bears, I will take the Jelruka anytime. Anytime. I mean, the Bjorninghuis had the bears, it had elves, it had wizards. I will go back to Skarhald and deal with Jelruka every single time over that. Every time. And then, so that was fun. We didn't actually make it into Wells of Langflood, but we're getting there. That's where we're going to be headed the next time we get the group together, because we did all of the stuff. I have some problems with some of the dwarves, but it's fine. The ones that we're going to be traveling with actually didn't irritate me too terribly much. Because the one that irritated me was the Longbeard that's staying behind. Actually, yeah, because actually the Jaruka and the Stout Axe that are going to be traveling with us, I actually like both of those guys. So
Okay.
And Glowin's coming with, so yay. He's all right. He's a bit useless, but Sarissa, my burglar, finished finally the year 3 Travels and Tales. So that was Boromir. So she did all the Travels and Tales for Boromir, and then got bogged down with Trifles because it's doing the instances, and instances are hard. And she did Garth Garwin, so it was literally bogged down twice because she had to do the Fortress and she had to do the Barrows for Garth Garwin. Fortress was actually kind of fun because I think she only killed like 10 things in that entire instance, one of which was the boss, because as a burglar you can sneak by everything. Fortress was Barrows was a little harder to sneak through because those whites have the shadow aura, which tends to pop you out of stealth. And then they came after me and got stabbed. And then I surprised myself because I managed to not get lost in Carndoom twice. I didn't get lost in Carndoom twice. Decided I wasn't going to try and do everything on one pass. So my first trip into Carndoom, I did a straight shot back toward Mordorith, which ended up being less of a straight shot because that tower there's nothing, no straight lines. I mean, there's straight hallways, but then you have to go up and around some more, and then down this way and turn right, and yeah. So that's really hard to do when you're invisible because the enemies will just kind of stand there and not do anything. And you can't even attack them from behind because they monologue. They're monologuing all over the place in Carndoom. Like, every other boss is trying to talk to me before I can stab him. And they don't do that if you're invisible. They have to be able to see you. So, yeah. And I finally get to Mordorith, and I did the thing, which is a flex. She flexed before Mordorith. And he's talking away, and I left instance. So, I didn't actually fight Mordorith. He's probably still talking for all I know. So I went back in, and of course it takes you back to the beginning of the instance, which was fine with me, because then I went to the left, and stealthed through all of the orcs and goblin slaves and yada yada, and found my way into the tunnels, and stealthed past the leeches, and the tentacles, and sang to Helchcam from stealth, and then I left instance again.
Makes note.
Because you don't have to engage with these enemies to do the emote. Filgashan was my favorite, and Filgashan is actually one of my favorite instances anyway. It's not like my favorite instance, but it's up there because Filgashan is all about being sneaky. Like, all of the challenges and stuff require you to be sneaky. So that first, when you first get into Filgashan, there's like a little foyer where you can do your stuff. And then you get into the room proper, and there's staircases to either side. And then just past the staircases is this alert orc sentry. And the challenge for this instance is you're not supposed to kill more than 2 orc sentries. So normally you end up killing this one. Yeah, well, I was in stealth, so I wasn't spotted. And I snuck up the staircase on the one side, and I dropped down and snuck around the sentry bell. And I took out all of the little mobs behind the sentry bell, donned my lieutenant costume so I looked like an orc, disabled the sentry bell, left the sentry, and then I basically just walked straight back into the mess hall because I didn't have to engage with any of the side enemies because I was just there to do the kiss the cook. So I walked straight back into the mess hall, disguised as an orc, fully visible, went to the back of the room, waited for everybody to filter out, and the cook says his line, and I clicked on the name in chat, because he's still up on the balcony talking away, again, monologuing. I clicked on the name in chat so I could target him, and then I did the kiss emote, and then I left instance. So, that's 3 enemies that I got down, and I didn't have to fight any of them. It was great. But yeah, then I got lost in the grand stairs, probably because I was trying to do it invisible and it just didn't work. Because bridges and stuff don't fall if if people aren't yelling for help because they can't see you. Yeah, so I'm gonna need help with the rest of the trifles, but worked my way to year 4. And then my other big thing this week is Terry Fluffs, my work. After, I don't know, 6 years or so, finally made it to rank 8. Which was glorious. And I got my Battlefield promotion and then felt like a big work. And I also talked my mom into acquiring the soccer class and joining us for a night on the moors, which was hilarious. We we had 2 baby works with us, and at one point we got into combat, and I don't know, they lasted like 2 seconds, and baby works were dead. But it's getting your teeth cut in the moors. So yeah, how about you, Calabathian?
Speaking of wargs in the moors, my Killian is now rank 6, booyah. And also, biting people in the butt from stealth is really fun, although death usually follows really rapidly after.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing to do is, you have like the leader of like this creep group, and you like stealth up behind them because they're like, they don't recognize you and they're standing back, and you just like come from behind and come out of stealth, and then they turn around and all of a sudden all these burglars around them, like, suddenly come out and start hacking at you and you die laughing.
Pouncing people off of horses is fun.
Yeah. And knocking people off horses, yes. Yeah, so I'm having fun in the moors, to say the least. Related to that, though, on Landreval, I went into the moors because we did that once, I think earlier this week. And I've been wanting to play a spider. So I made a spider for that, for Landy, for the moors. And I'll have to go back and really get into that because, baby spider. And apparently they're glass cannons anyway. So a baby spider is pretty much like you look at them wrong and they'll be dead.
Yeah.
So I'll have to actually work with that at some point and try to convince people to do that. But my main on Laurelin, Calabathian, is almost done with one of every card up to 13. I think I'm on 11 or 12 at this point. I'm doing the riddle, but I actually have to go back and, do some stuff because it's not completing all the way, and I can't really move on just yet until it completes. And anyway, long story. I still want to know who's actually been the one actually putting up all of these cards at the party tree. So I'm not quite done yet to know. So, shh, don't tell me. But I'm curious to know, because it's like, okay, now we're at it kind of brought up the question to me. Now that we're at year 13, and I think I've looked up some stuff about it, and I don't know that they're actually doing any more cards for a while. What are they going to do next year? Are they just going to like leave the anniversary event as it is for a little while? I mean, what's going to be year 14 for the anniversary event?
Well, actually, last year is the one where I think this is the first year where they didn't add any new ones, right?
Yeah, I didn't have any new ones this year.
See, I didn't know because I know they have. I want to say there's a 13th card, but maybe I'm thinking there was only 12, and then you have to do like a little quest at the end for 13. So maybe that's what it is.
It's not a year 13 quest. It's just a quest.
Just a quest. Okay, I'm just kind of wondering if they're going to do anything new for year 14 for the anniversary. Since it's an anniversary, it's going to keep happening. I mean, it's like oh hey, let's have a spring event. Well, we've done everything for the spring event, so let's not have the spring event.
Year that they weren't adding anything else to the anniversary, and they were just going to leave it as is.
All right. Dang. So no more mounts or anything else.
No, I mean they're still adding mounts and stuff every year. They're just not adding to the scavenger hunt.
Okay. All right, but then my last thing is that since we are running that sale, I bought an account-wide steed because I like the Rivendell steed. It's very pretty, so I bought that one. And I also got some character slots because, yes, indeed, like 145, 140 something per new character slot. Give me a couple of them. I guess I've been hanging out with y'all too long. I wonder where I'm getting these ideas to get new character slots.
Do you have now, Sans?
Get more slots. I don't know. And I wanted to just open and find out, but then everybody would hear the music, so I didn't.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah. I also got some storage space, like all the space. Okay, maybe not that much, but yeah, I got some inventory space, and I think some shared wardrobe space. But yes, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. But no, I got like two or three more character slots too, because I'm eyeing maybe getting a Stout Axe dwarf started because I don't have a dwarf character.
You need more character slots.
If you buy them, characters will come.
Well, let's see. Is the sale still on for that, or is that over now?
No, it's still on through the 10th.
So one more day.
Yeah, that's why I did it tonight. I was like, oh crap, it's the 10th. Gotta go. Gotta get this tonight if I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So, Guarindis, how was your week?
Well, not nearly as busy as last week. Real life kind of got in the way a bit, but dailies. Did I mention dailies? No, I've been doing the Ministeriate dailies, and I've also been working on the herbalism dailies because I really want that horse. I mean, I'm over halfway to finishing that part of it, from the frame to the horse, so I don't really want to give up now. But yeah, I don't know. Ithilion's very pretty to ride around in, aside from the odd orc or Easterling, so, it's not too bad. I did some festivaling too. Guer finished off the anniversary scavenger hunt. She still needs to go back and do all the trifles sometime, but she's got all the tales and all the travels done and did the year 13.
Yeah, those instances.
And got the Inthorn, which is just amusing me to no end, but we won't go there, I suppose. I did some deeding and clearing out my quest log. I actually had looked and discovered that the two quests that you get for the epilogue of Volume 2 that involved fellowships, I had never finished. So I went ahead and took care of the sword halls and went to Samath the Ghoul this morning with the help of my kin leader, Luanori. Also did some deeding in Lingers this afternoon, and I have a new title, Bane of Shelob's Broods.
Nice.
And also finished out the lore. I have some Slayer deeds still to do there, but Lingris is pretty much done. Also, then Mordor update. Finished out Talath Udari today. Nargroth seems like it's very doable if you have somebody else running with you. Thank you to Beldrick for captaining me through there, and started the Agronath, and I just met a goblin named Viznak right before I had to log to come on to the podcast, and he seems like he's going to be a hoot. We'll see. I just met him though. No spoilers, but I just met this kooky little goblin and chased him through the swamp to his campsite, and did a little bit of trying to heal somebody there, but then had to log and come to the podcast. So I'm looking forward to seeing where that story goes. Since Winda, what did you do this week?
Well, this week, my baby warg had a proud moment, catching up to Terry's warg, kind of. I hit rank 7 before she hit rank 8, and I was very proud of myself, even knowing that she was still way more powerful. And my warg has decided that it would like to be more like a burglar and less like an NPC. Because, like, looking at my burglar versus my warg, I'm like, really, why can burglars do this and I can't? I want at least like a breakout of stuns and remove poison skill. That doesn't seem like too much to ask. But it might be harder to get than I realize because I don't know like how game engine works and stuff, but like just some basic skills that now all the Freeps have and I still don't would be really nice to have. And maybe like a skill that can stun people from stealth, because burglars can do that since what, 75?
Yeah.
And that's really annoying. They can stun you from like across the landscape without breaking stealth, so you have no idea who attacked you or where they are. And they can use like a store tracker to find you, so you're not even just hunting hunters anymore. I'm still having fun on my warg, but there are definitely some skills that I would like to have that burglars already have, so. Or at least a warg equivalent. Like, I know it wouldn't be the same as a burglar, and I don't need any throwing knives to spit. But, but just a few skills would be pretty cool. Like, you know, maybe a howl that would confuse them for a few seconds or something.
Yeah. It's I was thinking about that today. I'm like, okay, if we're going to be so imbalanced in powers that one person, like one burglar, can take out like 7, creeps, then could we not balance that a little better or something? I mean,
right, and it's not just a DPS issue, because like they can break stuns, and then you have 10 seconds before you can stun them again. They can stun me and stun me again instantly, and there's nothing I can do about it. I don't even have a skill to break it once. I can only pot it. So
constant stunning is extremely unfair.
Especially with runekeepers and burglars around, because that's like all they do is stun, and oh wait, you're dead. Like, oh look, they're still stunning me and I'm dead. Yeah. But that would be my warg's chief complaint, is just the lack of some basic skills like remove the poison and disease, or wound, or break out of stun and have some stun immunity for 10 seconds.
I think last night, what was up with us using the silencing skills on a mini and it didn't even silence them?
Yeah, I don't know if they resisted it or if they had something blocking it, but whatever that was not cool. Because I know their skill that like breaks them out of that should not have broken it out of all of ours. Unless somebody tweaked that and I didn't catch it on my mini. But yeah, that mini just would not be quiet. But yeah, so that's my story about my warg, who's now rank 7, working very, very slowly towards rank 8. Might not ever be the same rank as Terry again till like 15, but we'll see. I'll keep working at it. And I did some more festivaling, but not as much. I think I completed the daily once and started it again. And I did some running around Pelargir on the field trip. And I was really super excited because when I picked up the first thing that I had to carry all the way down to the docks, I got super run speed because I was, like, I got that buff, the new one, that, like, you're busy helping and you can go super fast. And it was so much fun. And I, like, zipped down to the docks and I was like, oh yeah, this quest is going to be so much fun. And ran back up to catch the next one, wishing that I still had, like, the run speed, like, to go get the next item. Picked up the next item and it gave me no buff. And I was really bummed. So I, like, slowly waddled my way back down to the docks carrying it. And I guess fortunately it was just carry the 2 things. But that was pretty fun. And then we moved further on into Gondor. So that was pretty cool. How was your week, Pineleaf?
For my week, we'll begin with my main warden, who's questing up in the Scarhald area, and I listened to a really rousing speech. I guess that's the best way to do that. I think that goes to one of the grand speeches of LOTRO that I've heard. It was that particular one. I'm sure Terry and Sands are familiar with that speech by now. I heard it twice this week because I heard it with them also. And then my stout axe headed through the Black Gate and headed into Udun, and then eventually encountered a wily Easterling. And we'll see what comes about with him, because he's another one of those interesting NPCs there. Though, of course,
Not a
Wiesneck,
remotely likable one.
yeah, certainly not to the same level as Wiesneck is. Definitely not. And my honor warden headed into Sucross, and I also started rebuilding Hootbold. And this is the first time that I've been decided I'm going to be doing Hootbold, where it was after they made the changes that makes it easier. And
yeah, right? That's so great.
Oh yeah, I could spend the extra tokens I have because of all that expense so that I could get my rep up.
Yes.
Oh boy. Yeah, yes. Now that means that even though I just started it, I'm already at Kindred with the Wold and with the Norcrofts. I have one more quest to do in the Interwash Vale before I would have done the last of those at least once. So once I have that deed complete, then I'm going to ramp that one up to Kindred.
So
Then
I'm hearing that this is worth doing.
Yeah, I was gonna ask Pineleaf if you were, because I know you're completionisting on the Warden, so that means you are doing the Tower of Earworth and all the other ones.
I actually did the tower today. It's the most recent one that I did.
So I'm guessing the one you haven't done is the birds.
Yes, that's the one that I still have to. That's the one that I still need to do. Is yes, the one with that crazy bird. So we'll see how much I'm cursing tomorrow.
Yeah, you have my sympathies because that I was not a fan of that at all. I mean, the tower at least you have nobody but yourself to blame. The birds are just annoying, and that timer is really, really short.
Yeah, short timer, and the birds. Well, I'm not good enough in order to be able to time that perfectly.
Invest in bandages.
Yeah. So that one is a real pain getting through with the birds in there. So that's the one I have to worry about next. Then, assuming I get that, then I just have to worry about the Sucrofts and getting that. I'm still doing Sucrofts quests. I may be about halfway through that zone right now. So I got a little bit more to do on that. But that means now at least I do have ally with the Edgewash Vale at least. So that means that I've got swift travel from Hootbold to those three, and I've got the Suitcroft's port, so I have easy access to all of those locations then. Now, I know that the tower and the tightrope have a large contingent of people who hate those quests. I would have to say I'm at least at strong dislike on those quests. But to me, the most annoying of all the Hootball quests, and Hootball has a huge share of annoying quests, is the one where you're trying to tame that horse. That horse makes Lalia look like a fun proposition to go with. Oh!
That's true.
Yeah, it's just, let's not only go running around getting in trouble, but let's make sure that we aggro every single mob in the most mob-infested location in LOTRO.
Yes.
Oh, boy, that was... I It's just good thing that, all right, I was level 65. The mobs are, 85. The mobs are about 79-ish, I guess. 78, 79. So we at least had that. But I was wondering, all right, if I tab and throw javelins at, it must be even worse if you don't have javelins to use on this. I just make sure that, yeah, and I'm still following this horse, but fortunately I was able to.
I did that quest on a burglar.
Oh boy, that must have been
No
annoying.
range in mounted combat. Like you got the throwing knives for the on landscape, but mounted combat you have no range. It was awful.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was
I'm pretty
awful.
sure I had to do that quest twice.
I had to do it 3 times, so the horse died the first time. Well, the first 2 times. That's before I figured out that yes, tabbing off the horse does not break/follow. So once I figured that was the case, I was able to kill them. But boy, really? You have to go after every single mob, and you have to do this for 4 minutes.
Yeah.
4 minutes of annoyance. Oh well, but that was. But yes, but overall though, Hootbolt is certainly a lot faster to go through than before. So perhaps I will, by the time next week, be all finished with that and maybe be ready to head into Wildermore. We'll have to see there. We currently have 13 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to join this illustrious raid of players and help support LOTRO players, go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. Your money is used for our podcast hosting, website hosting, and to pay for our live shows. If you would prefer to give a single donation, you could send that to Drac at LOTROplayers.com. We did not receive any emails this week. If you'd like to send one, you can send it to podcast at LOTROplayers.com. You can also follow us on Twitter, the Players Alliance at Players Ally, LOTROplayers at LOTROplayers, Arendis at Arendis, Ponifit Needles, Sandwinda at Sanswinda, Terry Edwin at Terry Edwin, Warendis at Nitashell, and Calabathian at Calabathian. The Players Alliance has 3 shows. On Mondays at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. On Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have LOTRO Players News. And we also have XP Quest. Yes, that is back. You need to follow XP Quest on Twitter to find out when the shows are, because the time of the shows move about. Just remember, though, that XP Quest is not Pineleaf friendly. You can support us for our shows at loachplayers.com/live. And that's all for tonight. And this is Pine Needles reminding you to socialize responsibly.